Matthew Chris, good evening. Good evening, men. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, Miriam. The sisters are here. How are you? How is everyone doing? Our Father, all of heaven, sing out. Can you hear it? The sound of heaven touching earth. How is everyone? Hello, Ade. I can see you. Good evening, precious people. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. How have you been? How are you doing? Mim, how are you doing? How is work, darling? How are you coping? Thinking of you. How are you? I'm okay here. Please, as you come on, share for me. We're talking about, what are we talking about? Symptoms of depression and coping mechanisms. Dealing with depression during lockdown and how we're going to cope. How are we coping? How are you coping? Give us your coping tips of how you are coping in this unforsaken time that we have. Good. Work is busy, but I'm coping. Good. Yeah, that's all that we can do, isn't it? To pray and cope. To pray and just trust God and just stay positive, isn't it? God bless you. Matthew Chris, how are you doing, my love? How are you doing? How are you doing? Ruth Tiso, how is the studies going, my love? Candida, ooh, hello. All the way from, I've even forgotten where Candida is. Denmark. Candida, how are things in Denmark? Nice to see you, love. All the way from Denmark. My music has stopped. Okay. Just a few minutes and then we will start. Ade, how are you doing, love? How are you coping? Who else is here? Okay. Right, so I've been fine. Can't complain. I'm off for the weekend. Yeah. Good. I'm good to hear that you're well. Now, we need to be asking each other how we're doing. It's very good because it's part of what we're going to talk about tonight. And sometimes it sounds like a broken record, I keep saying, but it's very relevant that we check on each other. Today, I was on somebody's page and bless her, I think she's also a mental health first aider. And she's put something there, and I think I like to learn from people. She's put something there to say, if you are not coping, when you call her, or maybe let's say if you are being abused, you find yourself in an abusive environment, abusive relationship, you are mentally not okay, you're not where you want to be. When she calls you, hi Sister Deborah, how are you? How are you, my love? When she calls, there's a password, there's a code, yeah, that you use so that the person listening will not know. Maybe your partner is mistreating you, and when you call for help, you use that code. So let's say, for argument's sake, you are being mistreated and you want me to call you. You inbox me to call you. Then I will say, how is your grandma? Once you say, how is your grandma? Once I say, how is your grandma? And then if you say, she's fine, meaning that you are okay. If you say, she's not fine, meaning that you need help. We don't have to converse. We don't have to go into a long conversation. All that I have to ask you is, how is your grandma? If you say your grandma is fine, meaning that you're okay, you are safe. But if you say, my grandma is not good, My grandma is in a terrible condition. I'll get help for you. Yeah? Can we try that? I'll repeat that again. Woo, Mr. Folabe, hi, how are you? Good evening, sir, how are you? I hope all is well with you and your missus in London. I'll say that again. If you find yourself in a desperate situation, maybe you are in a place that it's being very abusive, or maybe you are feeling depressed, or you need help, but you can't get help, maybe because of your partner, because of a family member or something. You inbox me. What I'll do is, I'll say, how is your grandma? Yeah. You say grandma is fine. Once you say grandma is fine, meaning that you are okay. But if you say grandma is not well, amen, once you say grandma is not well, it means you need help. We don't have to go into a conversation. I'll straight away call help for you. Okay? So we can learn to find codes to help each other. You know, maybe the family next door, the children are being abused or whatever. You can get help, you know. But having said that, today we want to look at identifying depression, what depression is, and coping, how to cope with it. The symptoms of depression. I've got some notes here. I don't want to say them just off by heart. Like I always say, I'm not a specialist, okay? I'm a mental health first aider. My qualification is a first aider. If anything and you don't understand, I kindly beg of you to seek professional, medical, clinical, psychological advice. There's always help. There's always help out there. But I'm what we call, I come to engage with you, to signpost, to help you talk about it, to help you identify where you are, what you need, and the kind of help out there. There's a lot of help for our mental health, especially here in this country. You know, I was reading something on mental health. They found even Mind. Hello, Minister Selena, good evening. Mind, the one that I'm supporting, they've been in operation for the past 40 years. So there's a lot of help, only if people can reach out to get that help, right? When you come on, please share the video, because I know it's going to help somebody. You might think it's not relevant. You might think that, oh, mentally you are okay, or, you know, but statistics shows that a lot of us are suffering with depression, knowingly or unknowingly. A lot of us have got low self-esteem, low mood swings. You know, our mood swing, and now and then we need help, but we refuse because of the stigma, because of how even the body of Christ have taken mental health. And so people think once you mention mental health, it means, oh, they're going to lock you up, or no, that is not what mental health. I've said it and I'll keep saying it again till we understand that we all have mental health. We have good mental health and bad mental health. Never forget that. What is mental health? Mental health is how our brains, how our minds, you know, functions. And it can be either good or bad. Thank you. It can be either, please get your cup of tea, cup of hot drink, your Horlicks, your milk. Let's interact. So, I want to talk about depression this evening, okay? And depression is a condition that most of us have experienced it knowingly or unknowingly. Depression, when it comes to mental health, is like a cold, treating a cold under the mental health umbrella, okay? It's like when you've got a cold, you've got a flu. Depression, the onset of depression is something like that, yeah? But there's a wide range. There are different levels of depression that affects people in different ways, because we are wired differently. Depression will affect you differently. It affects us differently, okay? Some people are more prone to it. Some people are more prone to depression. Some are not. Some have got, you know, your resistance, your resilience in things, in the challenges of life. Some will have constant depression. Some will not. Some will not. That is how we are made. So if you come across somebody that is depressed or somebody that is going through depression, it's not because they are a weak person. Yeah, don't classify anybody as being weak or being you are not spiritual. That is why you get depression. No, depression has got nothing to do with spirituality. Neither has it got anything to do with the way that we were made. I'll explain it to you. We experience depression according to the issues of life. Can I repeat myself? We experience depression according to the issues of life, according to the events of life, according to the challenges of life. If someone can write that for me. We experience depression according to the events that takes place in our lives, the challenges that we go through, the foundation, our background, where we're coming from, the things that we experience as we are growing and as we mature will give us. I say to people, if you had a broken leg and you didn't get help, that will be an issue. It will impact your life. It will stop you living. So why is getting exactly, ma'am? Thank you very much. Exactly. If you had a broken leg, if you fractured your rib, if you had, let's say, a condition, you would seek help. So it's the same thing when it comes to our mind, when it comes to mental health. I'm glad we're on the same page. Okay, so like I said, we relate to depression in different ways. Yes, the way I'll relate to depression will be different from the way maybe you will relate to it. Now, maybe you become depressed. What can make you depressed? You could lose a loved one. Once you lose a loved, I've seen people who've lost loved ones and it has caused depression. It can be unemployment. You can become unemployed and your whole world will just come trembling down. That can cause depression. Abuse in a bad relationship can take you to a place that you've never, ever been. And that can cause depression. Peer pressure, especially for our youth. Peer pressure from the playground, from the classroom, sometimes even, excuse me to say, how some teachers will treat you. I had depression during growing up, and I didn't even know it was depression, but I realized that half of my high school life, I was a lone ranger. I was by myself most of the time. I didn't know then that I was experiencing depression, but that was depression because of how my Africana teacher, my maths teacher, because it was 2-in-1, it was the same man that taught me Afrikaans and maths. And like somebody said, if you have a good teacher, you'll go far. But if your teacher does not believe in you or does not take that extra time, your life will be miserable. I had a teacher that really made high school miserable for me. So yeah, I was depressed most of my high school life. Peer pressure, yes, abusive relationship, lack of support, lack of awareness can cause depression. Okay, so depending on what you are going through and the kind of depression that you have, I hope that makes sense. Please, let's be interactive. Let's, if you have a question, bring it. We are all here to learn. I don't have all the answers, but I hope by the end of the night we would have learned something. Yeah. Now we have two kinds of depression. Two kinds. Sister Ade, whilst you're typing, can you type for me? Two kinds of depression. And I'm going to read it. We have what we call reactive depression. Reactive depression. REACTIVE. Reactive depression and indigenous depression. Reactive depression and indigenous depression. What do I mean by that? The reactive depression, I'm going to read it to you and you can look it up Everything that I'm saying, it can be backed up by the books that I use. I have books that I research, and of course the training that I've been given as a first aider in mental health. So a reactive depression is a person's response to a particular incident or event in their life. For example, hello Lady Fatima, good evening my love, good evening. For example, a lot of us are having reactive depression now because of anti-coronavirus. We are depressed. A lot of us, especially if you're on the front line, you will find that it's quite challenging. And so our moods have dropped, the pressure at work, the pressure within the environment, the news, you know, what people are doing and saying around us. People are meant to be distancing themselves, but they are not. They're wearing masks, they go out, and yet when they want to sneeze, they take off the mask. When they want to talk, they take off the mask. All this is causing reactive depression because it stirs something in your mind. You become fearful, you become panicky, you become worried. It's only, it's only a robot who will say that, excuse me to say, at this time, they are not worried about something to do with the coronavirus. So if you are feeling a bit uneasy, if you are feeling a bit panicky, you are feeling a bit restless, it's okay. Because you are feeling the symptoms of reactive depression. You are reacting according to what's happening in the environment. Yeah, that's reactive depression. Then we have what we call indigenous depression. ENDOGENOUS. Okay, there's a conversation going on here. ENDOGENOUS. Indigenous depression. Now this one is an illness that one suffers no matter what the circumstance. You find some people that will have depression no matter what. They'll be on medication for a while. They'll be on medication for a long time. They are constantly depressed. It's, excuse me to say, that is how they've been formed. That's not how they are formed, but they find it hard to stop worrying. They find it hard to stop panicking. They worry quickly. They panic. They constant worries. They constant panic. They constant overwhelm. No matter what the situation is, they'll find themselves in a depressive state. Yes? So we need to differentiate between reactive depression, yes, and indigenous depression. There's a difference, okay? Now, once we know the kind of depression we are experiencing, because I know some people who have good, they are okay until the relationship becomes abusive, until people start looking down on them, until people start talking down on them. They start to lose self-esteem. They start to lose their morale. They start, they start going down. Their inner man is forever saddened and grieved. And that is how depression starts. Hence, I always say, treat people well. Talk to people well. Be quick to apologize. Be quick to rekindle a relationship. Because you don't know the effect you are having on the person. Amen. You don't know the effect. It's not everything that you must have an answer for. Sometimes you need to step back and rethink and recalculate before you answer. That's why in my field of work, health and social care, sometimes when a resident becomes aggressive, agitated, we step back. We step back because if you keep on interacting with them or challenging them, they can be abusive because it's like you are whining them. So there's always the place to step back. Take a step back and then go back to them again. After 5-10 minutes, when they've calmed down. It's the same approach when it comes to relationships. When it's becoming too heated, step back. Because in the heat of the moment, you will say the wrong thing. Once the word has come out, you can't retrieve it. You can't retrieve it. Good evening, good people. I see you all. God bless you. You can't retrieve it. So it's very important that we treat people well. And he said, do unto others as you want them to do unto you. If I want to be treated right, I need to give a right vibe. Can I get an amen? Yeah? So we are moving on. I want to look at symptoms of depression. What are the symptoms of depression? Symptoms of depression can be physical, it can be psychological, it can be spiritual. Hi, Andrew, good evening. Physical, psychological, spiritual. Really? Conflict resurrection. Exactly, Minister. How to deal with conflict, how to manage conflict and not always be hitting, challenging. But the symptoms are physical, they are psychological, and they are spiritual. Somebody will say, why are you saying depression is spiritual? Oh yes, I'll prove it to you in the Bible. We have people in the Bible who experience mental health issues. They had, you know, as it was in the days of Abraham, we are still experiencing it. There were men of God in the Bible who experienced depression, who experience anxiety, who experience panic attack. So there's nothing new under the sun. And that is why my prayer is that even the church, we will come to the place where we can have this engagement, we can have the discussion openly about mental health without reservation. Without reservation. It is it's vital that the church comes to that place of tackling mental health and how the coping mechanisms and how the people of God can be able to cope when they are mentally being challenged. Okay, so what are some of the symptoms? We've talked about physical, psychological, and spiritual. Now, what are some of the practical symptoms? Practical symptoms. Tiredness. You'll find that somebody is constantly tired. Someone is constantly tired. If you find yourself constantly tired, you need to slow down. You need to take a break. You need to be able, you know, our bodies are like cars. When you overuse a car, that's why we service our car once every year. That's why we have MOT. That's why we have insurance. So just like the car, the body too needs rest. Is somebody hearing me? You need to rest. You need time out. You need to say, okay, Ruth, no, you cannot carry on like that. Tiredness, feeling very lethargic. Lethargic is the word. Very, you know, you can't cope. Constant sleep disturbance. Now, I am very passionate. I want to dwell a bit here when it comes to the sleep disturbance. Normally, in the ideal world, you are meant to sleep for about 8 hours. Maximum. 8 hours. But depending on our life schedules and, you know, the challenges and the ups and downs of the day, some people sleep only 4 hours. That's not good enough. That is not good enough. Because if you are sleeping 4 hours and you are up and you are running for the next 12 hours or the next 24 hours, what are you doing to your mind? Your mind is not resting. Your soul is not resting. You are not having a peace of mind. I remember I was in a church, I'm not going to mention them, and I remember the man of God used to say, oh, sister, brother, if you sleep more than 4 hours, you are lazy. You are, we are wired differently. We are wired differently. So rest is very important. You'll find that when you are developing depression, your sleeping pattern might be disturbed. So look out for that. You'll be sleeping maybe 1 hour, only 2 hours. You can't sleep. You become restless, you know. Your sleeping pattern breaks. Look out for that. And then you have panic attacks. Do you realize when you are not sleeping well, you become panicky, you become jumpy. Somebody opens the door, you jump. Of course, there are some of us who are light sleepers like myself. I'm a very light sleeper. But if I'm sleeping, I don't panic out of just, but you become, when you are not resting well, you become panicky. You panic at the slightest thing. Another condition is loss of appetite. So please take this in mind. If you are losing sleep a lot, you need to have a journal and be writing down your sleeping patterns from Monday to Sunday. How is my sleep pattern? You'll find a lot of people who don't sleep very well hardly eat. Your appetite, you lose appetite. You find that you're not only losing appetite for food, but you begin to lose appetite and you start losing interest. Yes, Minister, we are wired differently. Thank you. You lose appetite, you lose interest in the things of life. You have to be able to identify the symptoms of going down the line of depression. Lack of sleep, always chronic tired. There's someone I spoke. She said, Mama, I've got this thing. It's like a chronic fatigue syndrome. You always tired. You need to seek help. Seek medical help. Seek medical help. Good evening, Auntie Pauline. Seek medical help. So it's tiredness, always feeling very lethargic, not sleeping. Your sleeping patterns are not consistent. Panic attacks. You're eating, lack of appetite, lack of interest in anything. These are the symptoms, some of the symptoms. Losing the zeal for activities. You don't want to do anything. You'll find that from Monday, Amanda, how are you? From Monday to Friday, you haven't done anything. You haven't achieved anything. You can't be bothered if any. Just try to write down. Because when you sit for medical help, they will ask you, what have you been doing? What is the pattern like? How long are you sleeping? What are you eating? Are you only eating junk? Hopelessness. Thank you. I've got a mental health guru on the line too. Yes. Crying a lot. Crying for no reason. Being emotional. You become emotional. Every little thing. You become very sensitive. Things that will normally not make you cry. You start crying. All these are symptoms of depression. Am I talking to somebody, please? Losing confidence in yourself. Isolating yourself from loved ones. Being very, they'll call you, oh, I'm busy. They will check on you, I'm not available. All those are symptoms. Irritated, thank you. Isolating self from friends and family. Feeling suicidal. You get to a place you're feeling suicidal. That's a big one. You feel helpless, especially when people have said to you in the past that you amount to nothing. You become a nobody. That is why, parents, it's very important the words we speak into our children's lives. Because Bible says words are powerful. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. So sometimes the words that we speak to each other, we have to be very careful. Because if you keep saying to me, oh, you are no good. Oh, Ruth, you know what? You get on my nerves. Oh, Ruth, your presence just, you make the person develop low self-esteem. And once low self-esteem steps in, you start feeling helpless. You start feeling, you start condemning yourself. Self-isolating, hopelessness. Yes? And guess this one. This is also a big one for the married couples. Some married couples, please look out. When your partner keeps saying, oh, I'm not interested. Oh, no, I don't want anything to do with sex. Okay, strike one. strike 2, strike 3. You have to know that something is happening. You have to find out why they have lost interest in sex, because it's all part of the package. As a married man, as a married woman, one way or the other, you have to sexually satisfy your partner or sexually satisfy the both of you. You have to satisfy each other. So once the other partner starts saying they are they've lost their desire, they've lost their libido, it's a sign. Don't be calling them names. Don't be criticizing them. Rather, like Bible says, let us reason together. Find the root cause. What is causing that? Okay? So, are we happy with that? There's, labeling people, self-isolating, hopelessness, feeling suicide. And may I say, all these conditions or all these symptoms affects the youth as well. And for them, even one of the big ones is the bullying, cyber bullying, all this internet bullying and other things. Yeah. Bullying even academically, saying maybe a colleague is better in maths academically, one is better in science. You find them teasing one because they are not good in a particular subject. And this can all induce depression. And so the child comes home, they don't want to talk. Comfort eating, mask their low mood and sometimes not eating, forgetting that they have not eaten. Yes, we've said that. Not having appetite. Thank you. Yeah? So bullying, especially with the youth, is something that we also... So when your child keeps saying, no, I don't want to talk about it, don't just ignore it. Please find time to sit and find out why they are isolating themselves. They are not talking. They don't want to talk about it. Make time to hear why they are saying, is everything all right at school? Yes, mommy. Is everything all right with your friends? Yes, mommy. Everything is yes, mommy. Yes, daddy. You have to have a question. Something isn't right somewhere. Good evening, Lady Gifty. God bless you. Yeah? So these are some of the symptoms. It differs from people to people. It differs, like I said at the beginning. Yeah? So, the other thing that we must also know is depression can affect your memory. It can affect your memory. When it gets to a very intensive stage, it can cause concentration loss. Yes, it can cause concentration loss. Sometimes it even causes hallucination. Depression can cause hallucination if not treated. You'll be seeing things that are not there, that others don't see. You'll be seeing things because you refuse to deal with the fact that there's something that you need help with. So it affects the memory. After all, it's a memory thing, yeah? But look out also for hallucination. When people they see things that you are not seeing. Don't just brush it aside and call them names. It's a trigger or it's a sign to say they need help or you need help, right? Now, like I said at the beginning, depression has been with us since time immemorial. It has been with us since the days of the Bible. It has been with us. There have been people who've gone ahead of us that have had depression, and they were delivered or saved by the grace of God. Amen. Pastor Duru, I see you. Helen, good evening. Yes. Look at scriptures. Let's look at Psalm 38 verse 6. Psalm 38 verse 6 deals with low mood. Yeah, David was going through a low mood experience and he was seeking help. He was sad, he was weary, and he had sense of loss. Yes, Psalm 38 verse 6 will make you understand that depression is real, because the man of God, the man after God's own heart, was going through a state of depression. Again, if you look at Psalm 6 verse 2 to 3, It was also, David was feeling anxious. It was a cry that I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling perplexed, I'm feeling overwhelmed. Help me, Lord. Again, Psalm 38, verse 13. He was feeling helpless. Psalm 38. I had to type the scriptures for me because sometimes we try to make it feel like Christians, those in the body of Christ who experience depression, are not spiritual enough. They don't know scriptures. They can't engage. They don't know how to communicate to God. No. That is not it. Because if David, the man after God's own heart, when he was being persuaded, thank you, sweetie, he felt depressed. There was a time when Saul was looking for him and he went to hide. How would you feel that constantly your life was in jeopardy? You will feel somehow, you will feel lonely, you will feel abandoned, you will feel suicidal, you will feel mentally drained. And that's what David went through. So please, let's engage with scriptures and by the mercies of God, seek help. Yeah? Add spirituality to the physical. Amen? Science and God must work together. I believe that powerfully, that science and medicine, science and God must go hand in hand. After all, who gave the scientists the brain to research and do all that they do? Yes, Psalm 38, Psalm 6, yes, Psalm 38 verse 13, okay? And then First Peter 5:7 says, let me read this. We are talking about depression and scriptures. First Peter 5:7 says, in everything, yeah, we should bring it prayerfully to the Lord. In everything, he says, be anxious for nothing, meaning that we can be anxious, meaning that we can be overwhelmed, meaning that we can be challenged. Mama, I flourish. Good evening, ma. Amen. Yes, I'm coming to that, sweetie Ella. We need to be open and transparent. Peter says, let's talk about our anxiousness and take it to the Lord in prayer. So there was a time that even those in the Bible, they were human beings. The Bible is not a fiction. The Bible is a book that people lived. Yeah? I remember when we were in theological school, we used to argue. When you are empty vessel, you talk a lot. It's the empty vessels that talk. A lot of us didn't know a lot of things about theology. And we were always arguing. Exactly, Mama. Auntie Pauline says a Christian depressed individual responds to treatment quicker than non-Christian. Yes, because we engage with scriptures and we understand that it is possible, but we have a higher power. We have our God, our daddy, who knows us, who formed us. And he's able to, when we reach out to him, he reaches out to us. So it's okay to say, I'm not feeling okay today. It's okay to call somebody that you can rely on to say, listen, pray for me. I need your prayers. I'm not feeling good within myself. Yeah? So, moving on, coping mechanisms. How do we cope? How do we cope with coping mechanisms? Yes, Auntie Pauline, I've also been there before. And if time will allow me, I'll share briefly. We've all been there. As Christians, as believers, we've all been there, one way or the other. But we thank God for his saving grace. We thank God for his healing power. Coping mechanisms. Number one, seek help. There's a lot of help out there. Last week, I gave some numbers out. If time will allow us, I'll put the numbers out again. The Samaritans, the mind, the, camp for children. There's so much help out there. There's so much help. Seek help if you are not feeling good within yourself. If you go to your GP and the GP says you need antidepressants, that's not the end of the world, my beloved. You know, I know people who have taken antidepressants and have recovered. But especially in our Black community, as soon as they say antidepressant, oh, it's a taboo. We say, no, you are going to be on medication and the side effects, and without even inquiring, without even investigating, maybe you just need a little dose. You know, they start you off with a little dose of antidepressants to help you. Maybe your sleeping pattern is out of the window. It's okay, my lovey. Just something to help you sleep. And within time, you will find with the other things going on with you, exercising, eating well, identifying where you need to, to seek help or to strengthen yourself, you realize that within a short time, you are off the antidepressants. I know people who have been on antidepressants and are no longer on it. Maybe you had a bereavement, you lost a loved one in the family. You lost a loved one in the family, and because of that, your mood changed. Maybe you lost a job, unemployment, and you are feeling low, you are feeling depressed. Doctor says you need a bit of antidepressants, and there are different kinds of antidepressants, and they are different strengths. They start from the lowest. Yes? So if your GP says you need antidepressants, it's not the end of the world. Samaritans are there. Yes, the Samaritans. Thank you. Yeah? Where are we? Coping mechanisms. Yeah? Treat yourself and others with compassion. Number 2. You see, like we said at the beginning, do unto others as you want them to do unto you. Learn to be nice. Treat yourself well and treat others well. Don't only expect people to treat you well whilst you are horrible. Treat others well. Speak well of people. Appreciate people. Be grateful. We have seen the amount of people that have lost their loved ones, lost dear ones. We've all lost people. Treat people right. Yeah, it's a coping mechanism. Take time out to treat people well. Exercise. Take time to exercise. When I say exercise, I'm not saying go for one long marathon, even if it's just the skipping rope, whatever exercise that you are comfortable with, do something. Don't just sit. There are some people who will sit on the couch from 6 in the morning to 10 in the night. The only time maybe they'll get up from the couch is maybe when they want to use the loo or when they want something to drink. Exercise your muscles. Find something to read. Okay, Mama, I don't like reading. Good. You don't like reading. Find some activities. Do the opposite of what is, find what you like and concentrate on that. Channel that coping mechanism, strength, and work with it. Yes, something that you are good at. Maybe you like baking, bake. Bake for your loved ones. Bake for people around you. Bake for a charity. You like coloring. Do some watercoloring. Do painting. Find things that will give you the energy to do something. Don't just, I like cooking. I like cooking for people. So if I'm feeling low, I like to cook. I like to check on people. That is a coping mechanism for me. Last week, somebody said, I don't believe, Ruth, with all that you are going through at work and all that's happening around you, you still find time to come on Facebook and talk to us. I said to them, my engaging with people on Facebook, giving advice, availing myself, is a coping mechanism for me. It's a way of me being comfortable. It's a way of me, you may say I like the camera, oh well, If you've got it, you need to bring it out. What has God given you? You demonstrate it. By me sitting here and engaging with you, I will learn from you. You will learn from me. At the end of the day, we'll take something home. Amen. Auntie saying coping mechanism, they should do pleasure, even though they don't feel like it. Exactly. Do something that you are comfortable with that will make you happy. We don't come and sit on social media because we don't have anything to do, but it is also a coping mechanism for us. Yeah? So find something to do. Stay in touch with someone or with one or two people that you trust. Stay in touch with people that you trust. Stay in touch with people that you know that they can keep you safe. They can keep confidentiality for you. They can cover you up. They can uplift you in prayers. All these are coping mechanisms. Do not isolate yourself so, because by the time you know, there's a word we use, you found yourself in the deep end. You are in the deep end, and that might be too late. Who is her pleasure activity is baking. Wherever she brings in any baking, we always know and just cheer it up. Yeah, bake. You know, do some sport activities. Paint, sew. Some of you know how to sew. Sew. Sew for others. I saw on someone's page, she said her coping mechanism at this time, she's sewing masks for those on the front line. She's sewing aprons. That's how she's coping. Another woman is doing painted t-shirts. She said, we're doing painted t-shirts for the youth, those that are being mentally challenged. What are you doing to cope during this lockdown? I'm here interacting with you. What are you doing to cope? You are listening to me, okay? But during the week, when you're feeling mentally challenged, what are you doing? Yeah? So you keep in touch with somebody. You try to be active, like we said. Focus on the positive of life. Focus on good things. Philippians 4 says, verse 8, whatever things that are beautiful, whatever things that are noble, whatever things that are praiseworthy, if there be any virtue in these things, do concentrate on those things. Focus on the positive. Focus on the good things. Focus on the fact that you are still alive. I know it might not be easy when you are feeling low to see, oh, I just feel like dying. No. But by the grace of God, focus on what you have achieved. What have you achieved in life? Focus. Maybe you have children. Thank God for the lives of your children. Maybe your children are making your head go spin in circles. It's still okay. It's not a permanent thing. Focus on something good. Maybe you've qualified, you've got an education, you've got something. You know, focus on the things that are of good. Eat healthy. I said this last week, sorry. I said this last week. Eat healthy. Eat healthy. Eat healthy stuff. Yeah? But whilst you are eating, and for those who, excuse me to say, will be given antidepressants, here is something you need to take with you. Be careful with the antidepressants because it can affect your appetite. It can either go both ways. Hello, Auntie Amma, I see you. It can go both ways. With some antidepressants, depending on your chemical, your physique and everything within you, you can either overeat or you will not eat at all. So be careful when you are on antidepressants. Keep an eye on your eating habits. Keep an eye on your eating habit. Not eating at all, like I said at the beginning, is a sign that you need help. But overeating as well can cause problems. Yeah? And then have a routine. We are talking about coping mechanisms. Have a routine. Make sure you have a routine for the day. Don't just sleep the day. You sleep the whole day throughout. That is not a coping mechanism. Try to to get yourself up at the normal time, set the alarm, get up at the normal time, and then during the day, when you feel a bit tired, get some rest. Get some rest, yeah? Ways to bring yourself up again. So you can nap during the day, but don't sleep for 14 hours. Don't sleep for 14 hours, please. Get up, make your bed, have a shower, take a bath, brush your teeth, brush your hair, have something to eat. Go and sit in the garden. Do something. I'm talking about now, since we are all in a lockdown. Interact with somebody in the house if there is. If there's nobody, check on somebody. Do, like we've said, do things that keeps your spirit motivated and keeps your spirit high. If you are not coping well, call somebody, call someone, check on somebody. Call, sometimes just send a message to say, can you check on me? I'm not in a good place. I say it sometimes. I'm not in a good place at the moment. Oh yeah, I'm not in a good place. Can you check on me? Hi, Kemi. Good evening. Connect, yes. Try to contact some old friends you've not heard from. Thank you. Connect with people. No man is an island. No man is an island. As you are feeling low where you are, somebody also needs to hear from you. By the time you know, the day is gone. By the time you know, you've checked on someone, and this distracts you from dwelling on what you are going through, because sometimes all you need is a bit of distraction. Okay? All you need is a bit of distraction. So don't engage, don't dwell on that thing that will drive you deep to the deep end. Try to distract yourself. Any questions? Any more contributions? How are we doing? I hope what I'm saying is helping us. I hope it's helping somebody. Is my time up? It's my 1 hour up. It's gone quickly. My 1 hour is up. Hello, birthday girl. Good evening. Right. If there is no, if there's nothing else, I just want to share with you quickly, why am I here again when I was here last week? Please, I'm here because I'm on a mission. I need you to go on my Facebook page, Ruth Tiso, the one and only Ma Ruth in town, Ruth Tiso. Go on my page, please. I am raising funds for my birthday. The first week in June is my birthday. Some of you have already done. I bless God for your life. I am grateful. I am so grateful. We've raised a good amount already, but I still need more. My target is 200 pounds only. I'm joking. My target is 200. 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 15 pounds, any amount, please, to help with. Last week, ITV News said, as I finished here, ITV News said, the youth, the mental health condition for our youth in this country has escalated to 75%. And after the lockdown, there's going to be a need for financial support, financial treatment, counseling, teaching for the mental health sector, for the mental health foundation. So every penny counts. Listen, the money you are giving is not coming to me. It's going to the Mental Health Foundation UK, okay? But this one is going to support my district where I am, where we are, Bedfordshire, Milton Keynes, and Luton. Please go on my page if you haven't. Please, I'm begging, and support my charity, mental health. Secondly, between the 17th and the 24th of May is a National Week of Mental Health Awareness. Yes, National Week Mental Health Awareness. Normally, It should have been the first week of May. It's normally the week for depression. We treat depression and anxiety, but because of COVID-19, things have changed, the dates have changed. So I'm begging you, it's going to, this whole month, if Jesus doesn't tarry, you'll be seeing me till June. I'll be here. I want money. I want money for mental health foundation. I want money for mind. Yeah, please support my cause. Somebody sent me a message. In fact, 2 people sent me a message to say they don't trust Facebook when it comes to online payment. Suri, you are in a good place. Just inbox me. If you don't want to pay online on my Facebook page, inbox me and say, Minister, please, can you give me an alternative bank account? I'll give you our ministry, Women of Hidden Treasure. We have a ministry account. I'll give you the ministry account and I'll transfer it with, you know what I mean. So, hi Jasmine. Please go back to the beginning and listen to what we've been saying. So please don't feel that you cannot support me. A beautiful lady, I'm not going to mention her name, all the way from Ghana said, Mama, how can we support? We're in Ghana. I'm going to find a means which every penny counts. Africans are supporting. Come on. Those of us in the UK, we can do better. Go on my page, Ruth Tiso. You will find it there. When I finish, I'm going to share again. You might think that it's not relevant. It's very relevant. Hi, Craig. Hey, how are you? Please support my charity. My mind, it's my birthday, the first week of June. I don't want a gift. The gift I want is for you to support my mental health campaign. A couple of years ago, when I was doing my ministerial theology, it took me 3 years to get the theological degree. Then it took me another 3 years to actually be trained and be an accredited minister in the Baptist, union. See, I know what I went through was depression. I suffered depression. I suffered because with the Baptist history and thing, like I would say to my girls, I didn't do high school in the UK, and most of the things there were the history of the country. Now, I don't know how many of you have done British history. I did not have a clue. And it was challenging. It was very challenging for me. I struggled to understand the history, but I had to do it. And I remember one particular weekend, I stayed in bed the whole Saturday. I did not come out of bed. I was just, I was a wreck. I could not cope. And the Sunday I went to, before that, one of my daughters realized, because when you are, you're a bubbly person and you are always on the go and everything, when something happens, people notice. So she sneaked out of the house. She went to town. She got me flowers. She got me cake. She got me carrot cake. I like carrot cake. She got me carrot cake. And she got me these beautiful flowers. I love flowers. And she brought it. And guess what? That helped me to get out of bed. It packed me up. It packed my spirit up. I felt love. I felt cherished. Sometimes it's just those little things. And I was able to get myself out of bed. The next day, the Sunday, I went to church. And I said to my senior minister, I said, I'm not coping. I spoke out. I said to him, I'm not doing very well. I'm struggling and I'm mentally drained. I'm not in a good place. And I thank God for his life, because he said, Ruth, you need time out. Take time out. Because I also work in the church. He said, take 2 weeks away. Take 2 weeks annual leave and concentrate on your work. Is someone listening to me? There's help out there. But you should be able to identify when you are not in a good place to say, I need help. Don't wait till it gets to that place where you feel like giving up in life, when you feel, it could be financial, it could be marital, it could be anything, like we've said at the beginning. But there's always help. There's always help. I've mentored women that were being maritally abused and it affected their mental health. And by the grace of God, they've come out. Amen. She said, who must accept help too? Yes. You know, you have to tell yourself that no, I need help, and it's okay. And that is why, like Deborah and Mim were discussing earlier, that we need to be discussing mental health so that it becomes a normal thing in our society, in our community. If my shoulder is broken, everybody will know my shoulder is broken. So why will I not seek help when my mind is also not in a good place? Yeah? So I hope what I have said has helped somebody. Share the video, dealing with depression and coping with it, and the, coping mechanisms. If there's anything that you are not sure of, inbox me. Like I said to you, I'm not a specialist. I'm a mental health first aider. My training, my certificate is to signpost, is to help you find the symptoms. It's to help you find help. Before I go quickly, I want to read you this. There's something I want to read you. The executive of mental health said, what's his name again? The chief executive of mental health said something that I wrote down, and I want you to take it on board. If I can find it, I wrote something here. Yeah, to take it on board that this year, for the 1 week awareness, the theme is kindness. The theme for the 1 week awareness is kindness. So like I said, is it from the 17th up to the 24th? Let's be kind. Let's be kind to one another. Yeah? Let's be kind. And sometimes when people are not in a good place, it does not show physically. It does not show. They can be smiling, but within themselves, oh, where's this thing? Within themselves, they are not in a good place. I was going to read you something that Mark Rowland wrote. If I don't find it, I'll come back and read. But something very profound that I wrote in my notes. On that note, there's a book I want to introduce, especially to the ministers. Who is this? Okay, you said one, Mom. I think speaking to a professional, whether it's GP or a counselor like you, can help you understand what you need. This can range from self-help tips and breathing exercises. Yes. Of course, psychotherapy, medication. Everyone is different and will need different levels of support. I suggest people should speak out and not die in silence. Thank you very much, son. Excellent. Yes, you know. So because we have engagements like this, I think it will help. Now, there's a book that I want to recommend, especially for the ministers. I don't know how, does it show like this? Can you see? It's very good. It's a mental health counseling book for ministers, for pastors, for bishops. Do you know this book talks about the different moods that women go through? Excuse me to say, sometimes you can have your period as a woman and it can affect you mentally because of the way that we are wired. When you have a mood, when you are having your period, depending on the severity of it, it can affect you mentally. So as ministers, we need to learn, we need to engage. There's a lot of books, resources online for pastors, psychology, psychotherapy, you know, exercises and things, and counseling skills. It's psychology for pastoral context. Jessica Rose. Jessica Rose is a nurse, a mental health nurse, but she's also a minister. Somebody like myself. I'm a minister, but I'm also a health professional. Yeah? Our gifts will make room for us. After 9-to-5 job, yes, you come and you minister to people. There are a lot of books out there, a lot of resources, but be careful of self-prescribing. Careful of self-prescribing. God bless you all. I hope, did somebody put this book up there for me, please? Psychology context. Yeah, for pastoral context. It's on Amazon. We've got a Kindle version of it. I first got the Kindle, then I try as much as possible to bring out the resources. There's a lot of information in this book. Please get a copy. Even if you are not a pastor, maybe you should bless your pastor with it. You know, believers, bless your pastor with this so that he can preach out of it. God bless you. My name is Ruth Tiso. I pray that you have a good Sunday. And if you've been blessed, share my video. Share the video to bless somebody. And don't forget my funding, my charity. Support my charity. £5, £10. Okay? And on my birthday, I'll bring cake. We'll have cake on Facebook. Thank you very much, everybody. God bless you. Blessed night to everyone. Bye.